To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the queen of the indies, Tiffany, and I got you covered with another interview with my friend Tristen Thai. How are ya?
That's good.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to
Of
have you
course.
on
Thank
here.
you for having me.
Yeah, so guys, if you're new here to the Indie Wrestling Corner, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, backstage. I got you covered. If you guys could share, hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys got questions for Tristen, please feel free, drop it into the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. Oh, I already see some peeps in the chat. What's going on, Sky? How are you? John, what's going on? Thanks for joining on in here. I love you very, very much. So yeah, so I like to go back to basics with with this podcast. So we'd like to learn a little bit about you for the fans out there that might not know you. So let's get back into like how you got into professional wrestling.
Okay. Well, the first taste of it was a family party at, I think I was like 7 years old, and family party sometimes it's just family. So after the first couple hours, especially if it's at your house, you're like, you guys got to go.
Right.
So when the adults start hanging out, sometimes the kids are falling asleep. I'm 7, I'm up, but everyone's sleeping. I'm like, I'm just going to go to the other room and watch TV.
Right.
I couldn't find the remote, so I just put it on. And it was on UPN 9. When SmackDown used to be on UPN 9 in New York. And John Cena was on, and he was just rapping. I don't remember exactly what he said, and I don't remember exactly what he was wearing, but I know it was a jersey like this. I know he was talking shit, looking jacked, and then I was just like, what is this? And then he started and for some reason, every day since then, from the next maybe week and a half, 2 weeks, I would just press the TV, that same TV in that room, every day at all hours, just to see when it was going to come on again, until I figured out it was on Thursdays. And then when that happened, I took my mom. I said, "Yo, we got to go to Blockbuster." And I started, and then I saw everything. They had WCW, they had old WWF, 99 Royal Rumble stuff. And I was just like, damn, this is crazy. And then as, for a lot of guys, especially a lot of the boys and girls, when you first meet your first wrestling friend in school, you first found that one kid in class that was down with wrestling. You might have not have hung up, you probably didn't hang out before, knew each other, but once you realized that they liked wrestling, it was over. It was you like wrestling? So you bring the action figures in, you play the theme songs and things like that. But the cat went crazy. Man. The phone dropped. She just went crazy just now.
I heard that.
That's wild.
If you got pets, then you know, guys, how they are.
Yeah. Damn. You never know what's going to happen on a live podcast.
No,
That's
you never
crazy.
know.
I still don't understand cats. They're my wife's cats. I still don't understand. But no, that was the big decider right there, was having a friend that liked wrestling, because now we're talking middle school age, and
right.
now, we're starting to get into girls, we're starting to get into, sports, we're starting to get into like, like trying to like do other things. But because I had him, his name's Gerald, and you know, he always was like, "Hey, bro, I think you could do this stuff. Like, you'd be really good." And it was just something where like that little bit of hope, that little bit of like little encouragement, like it meant everything. Because like mom and dad, they don't get that stuff. Like your other friends, like you like that fake crap. You know what I mean? All they don't understand.
Right.
So just having one person, just one, kind of be like, "Yo, like I think you could probably do this if you wanted to."
Right.
That was enough.
Right.
And so from then on, my elementary school yearbook, middle school yearbook, high school yearbook, even like my college acceptance letter was about wrestling and why it meant so much, why I wanted to do it, why I knew I was gonna do it. And I think from there, like it was my decision was made. Like when I met my wife, like we were 18, and I was like, "Hey, listen, like before we kind of get serious or whatever, just know that I'm gonna train to be a wrestler after we graduate. So don't try to make me like catch feelings or like baby, whatever it is. Like don't get me invested, and then I tell you this, and then you ask me to choose because it's gonna be wrestling.
Right.
It's
Right.
gonna be. I wanted this for longer than I knew you, and the way that I came like straight out forward with it, she respected enough to where she was like, he's not kidding. So I support you. So that was another thing where again another person where they were able to kind of be selfless enough to kind of hear me out. Because when someone tells you about wrestling, it's ridiculous.
Right.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous now when people find out.
I'm sure.
I think it's crazy. Imagine what everyone else would, you know what I mean? So it's something where like we forget when we go outside of our circle, when we're not at a show, when we're not with the boys, when we're not like out at the diner at 3 a.m. or in an airport, like it's nobody knows what we go through. No one knows why we do what we do to ourselves. No one knows why we love it so much. Even from your perspective too.
Yeah.
I'm like, you would rather be, hanging out with the girls on a Saturday night. No, you're at a show.
Yeah.
You're meeting, you know what I mean? You're meeting people, you're networking, you're trying to be a part of this world. And like only people who take it this far understand what you're talking about. And that's what you need, a good group of guys, which brings me to when I started training.
Right.
When I first started training, me, Kono Capucha, he was my trainer. But I was the only student for a long ass time. It was just me for a couple months. And so I really got real one-on-one attention, and he knew right away that I wasn't messing around. Like I wasn't a nerd that went to shows and then decided to hop the barricade one day and join. Like it wasn't like that. It was, I know who I am as a person, and I know that this just happens to be the avenue in which I want to make my money. It had nothing to do with like, it had nothing to do with me marking out about anybody. I didn't show up with a John Cena shirt. I showed up ready to work because I knew what it was going to entail. And I think from there, he took a not just a liking to me, but he was like, this kid might actually could do something with this.
Right.
I think every 1 out of every 50 students probably have something in them that makes people want to invest in them, especially like a coach.
Right.
Like I can't tell you how many students came and gone since I started there.
Yeah.
Like in there, same passion, all fired up. Next day, they're not there. Next week, they're not there. And that's why, like, when I hooked up with Gabe, that was someone who, like, I started to watch, like, just from going to our little local shows that we had.
Right.
And seeing him work so hard and get golf claps. It was like, it blew my mind and made me so nervous. I was like, he's doing crazy stuff. And it was just like, it brought it back to earth of what we're here for.
Right.
And when I saw his passion with it, it immediately drew me to him, even though he was younger than me. And maybe, even though we maybe liked different music, or we dressed different, or we were just on 2 different spectrums of how we saw life. For some reason, that straight path where we wanted to make something out of ourselves in this business drew us together.
Right.
And that became the phone call, was like, hey, my girl's tripping, like, can we talk? Cool. Hey, I'm trying to figure out this new chest workout. Can we talk? Hey, I'm trying to figure out nutrition. Can we talk? Hey, I kind of want to learn about stocks. Can we talk? We keep a tight-knit circle to where, whether it's me, De Niro, Martin, like Kono himself, like Percy Ryan, like Desmond Cole, Sam Hain, like whenever like we have an issue, we keep close because we take it deeper than the ropes, because that's how we're able to maintain our sanity, first of all, but also keep ourselves in check, because we're going to have good days. We're going to have bad days. But to keep ourselves in the mix of like really trying to elevate the product, which is our name, which is our group, which is our reason for we believe living, we're going to feed into that as much as we can. So as far as like the start of everything, it started with just not having a remote one day on TV, and I just happened to be on that channel.
Right.
And then from there, forcing my mom to Blockbuster. From there, forcing my friends to watch wrestling. Then meeting someone that liked wrestling, and then pushing me towards a school. Me having the confidence to know that this is what I wanted to do. Me being able to tell a girl that I would love to invest time in you only if you can understand me investing time in this. And what are the odds that she was perfect for every situation, right?
Mhm.
And then hooking up with my trainer, meeting Gabe, meeting the guys, forming a unit of people who didn't just want to be cool on the weekends, people who didn't just want to take it until they were just bored and then stop. These were people who said we can keep the lights on through wrestling. Especially when we first started, we're just getting a hey, good job, kid, and maybe like, they say like the hot dog and the handshake, like that type of deal. To this day I still don't understand that, but that's just me. But that was something where like we were ready to really take bullets for each other for real. And when you have that type of bond, it's unbelievable how much more you can accomplish and believe in yourself for. So
Man. Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, I think you like hit like a bunch of things because like I've like friends with like a lot of different wrestlers, people that are training and stuff like that. So just like here, just like one question, and it's like I feel like
Yeah.
so many things were answered. There's like so many, all that like emotion and the feeling, or like just
I
answered
told you I
like a
don't
whole.
shut up.
No, it's fine. I meant more that it's like, like I feel like it's answered like some questions that like I've had conversations with like young students and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really, I'm in this like in between world of, between being a fan and whatever I am in the business, I guess, or whatever like that, so it's like, but it's like I said, you hit a lot of things that, like I'm thinking of like certain wrestlers in training right now. So I'm sure they'll be happy to listen to that. So, all right. So let's start with this because again, like I said, I know you, I've seen you live plenty of times. So, but for the fan listening to this podcast, never seen you wrestle before, what's the go-to match that they should watch to become an instant fan of yours?
Damn, the match that I'm so proud of right now is above the rest, me and Gabriel Sky versus Miracle Generation. It's on for Beyond on Cheddar Territory, the finals. That was something where, I got injured pretty bad. Like the day before Thanksgiving 2019. Ruptured my patella tendon, snapped my kneecap, tore my quad hamstring. Like it was bad. And the doctor said, forget wrestling. It was about walking normal again. Like they ruled out any sort of athletic. Like it was over.
Right.
And again, Gabe Kono right there in the hospital with me. But something where like that whole transition period of me being injured, me just starting to kind of understand who I was, especially in MLW. I was just starting to kind of understand these cameras and being in this type of locker room with legends and just people who are supposed to be in locker rooms. Like I was starting to really get it, and then like gone, right? And from there, like it was me really trying to figure out a style, a gimmick, an attitude, a mindset that would put me not only through the injury and the recovery, but bring me back and make me better. So like that match was a lot, because that match was accumulation of every day on the phone with Gabe. When I'm staring at painkillers, I'm sitting on the bed, like it's cold out. I got my lineup's all fucked up. Like I'm gaining, I lost all my muscle. I'm not hungry. I'm not eating. I'm just like pissed. From there to going to physical therapy, like coming home doing physical therapy for like 10 hours where like my phone would be dead for days. Like my girl doesn't know where I am. My mom doesn't know where I am. I'm in the garage just working. Like from there, and then starting to, then COVID came, right? So now there was nothing. So now like even less, I got to rehab myself. I can't go to physical therapy. I can't. So I got to teach myself how to get better.
Right.
And then, seeing the guys also in the sense where like I started quarantining almost a year before quarantine even happened. I wasn't going outside. Like I was cut off from the world. Like, and I saw how the wrestling world worked, where if you're not in the public eye for just a little bit, you're gone and forgotten until you do something cool again. So like I saw how the culture was kind of shifting with social media and things like that. So I didn't mind taking a seat back because I was seeing it from the outside. But again, accumulation of all that brought us to that match where me and Gabe went to a Beyond tryout
Hmm.
just to see if we could hang, just to see what was good. Janela Dickinson, Drew Cordero were the judges of this tryout. I mean, you have a lot of guys that are killing it now. Josh Bishop was there, Trey Lamar was there, Rex Lawless was there. I mean, everyone, like, people were there.
Right.
Gabe won the whole thing, which I predicted in the car because I didn't even want to go to it. I was nervous as hell. I was like, I can't do. He's like, yes, you can. Not only did Gabe win the thing, they liked me enough too to bring us back to do like a dark match on Beyond. From there, me and Gabe got invited to be on the first episode of Uncharted Territory, and episode 1 and 2. You know, and then to close it out from all of that, like just because like if Gabe didn't bring me to that Beyond tryout, we would have never gotten that opportunity, which would have never gotten me to wrestle me and him on the Boston secret show for Beyond, which MLW, that's why I got signed, because they watched that match and said, like, let's bring this kid in. That would have never happened. All the stuff that Gabe's been doing since my injury, again, forced him to be a whole new entity when I wasn't there with him. He had to be himself. And with that, he became who he is now. He's killing it
Yep.
because of that injury, because of those phone calls, because of the phone calls before the injury, those talks about us making it and whatever it took. And now to full circle come back to the last episode of Uncharted Territory, the second season, to wrestle the Miracle Generation, who were setting up rings, like cleaning up, sweeping, with all the talent in the world, but they were so humble enough that they were putting like scrub work in. People call pan dues. I call it scrub work. I believe in owning your level and making it, and again, people have to do certain things. I understand that, but I always thought they were too good to do certain things like what they were doing. And I've said, like, once these kids get a chance to go ahead and just make something happen, they're gonna make it happen. And then they did. And then I didn't know that they were gonna put us against them. They made that happen. So that match specifically, when we did that, not only did that match mean everything at that moment, because people were talking about that was the best match of Uncharted Territory, and that was the last match of Uncharted Territory.
Amazing. Love those.
So obviously, to the ego, where me and Gabe could just walk in, not tag team, not train, not talk about it for over a year, come back and have match of the year for Uncharted Territory,
Right.
with two guys we never met, have money be thrown in the ring, have tag team wrestling chants, Beyond Wrestling chants, all these guys chants. Like, we earned all of that with those guys, and that was a match that I say that nothing missed in that match. Nothing missed in that match. And that's something where if people want to say, like, what are these guys about? That match right there.
Perfect.
That match meant a lot to Kylon and Dustin. That match meant a lot to us. And that match meant a lot to Tag Team Wrestling, the company, and just the overall belief that I carry, which is, skills over politics, and bring your game, not your name. In the sense where, like, we don't take shortcuts, because if we did take shortcuts, we'd be in a lot higher places right now. We know that we would, but we know we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do, everything that we want to do, by doing it our way. And I think Dustin and Kylon are doing it that way too, in their version. And the four of us in there, I mean, we made magic, and it was a really, really, really dope match for us, for my confidence, for Gabe's confidence, for us as a tag team to cement ourselves on a big level at IWTV as a tag team to watch out for, and earn some respect from fans that are very clickbaity, which are very, very followers, where if you're not in that quote unquote inner circle of certain guys, you're not going to get the looks, you're not going to get the merch sales, you're not going to get the tweets or all that stuff. And I understand that, and I don't want to be a part of it, but I understand that when you have a match like that, when you don't have that cheap clout, and they react like you do, you earned all that. So that's something that I'm super proud of. So that's the match that I would say.
I love that. John in chat says that match was good. I was there. People were talking about that for a while. So,
yeah.
So awesome.
I mean, like, we made people talk. They don't see me outside a lot. People forget. Like, I've only had about 60 something matches. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys have had 300, 400, 500. Right. I don't believe in wrestling every day because the culture is so quick. You're only as good as your last one.
Right.
If you have 7 good matches in a week, and you botch once or do something weird once, that's all they're going to talk about. So you just took 7 matches of bumps, 7 matches of possibly taking off of work if you needed to, all those miles, back pain, painkillers, fast food, all this bullshit that you had to go through. just to have people harp on one little thing. So I make sure when I'm outside, I'm in that ring, I kill it and then I leave. And every match that I want, I don't sign matches. I don't sign the line. I don't say yes to matches or bookings just because it's a booking. I make sure that it matters. So if you look at my list, besides like maybe a couple of the beginning ones, maybe every single match since then has mattered. In
Right.
some sense of the word, it's either been against a crazy opponent or a high stakes match. No matter what, I always make sure that it matters. And I think Gabe takes himself seriously, professionally and personally, in the sense where he knows that his brand matters. And it's not about how many fights, it's who you fought and why you fought and where you fought. So, and I think like that match definitely solidifies everything that we feel about wrestling and just each other and life. So 100% check that match out.
Love it. So good. Everybody knows I'm a big Miracle Jen, and I love Gabe. I love you. Like, you guys are awesome. I mean, we'll get into that. You know, if you guys want to check out Miracle Jen, Gabe's been on this podcast, so go check out those interviews later if you haven't already. Let's see. There was questions in the chat. Oh, Tommy says, Tristen was the first wrestler I ever met. Episode 2. That's awesome.
Oh, that's...
John says, what is your favorite wrestling promotion?
See, that's hard. That's really, really hard.
Put on the spot.
And it's hard for a lot of guys, not because people want to kiss ass and be like, oh, I don't want to leave anybody out. But each place that I've been, like I said, I don't go anywhere just because. Are there places that I haven't been yet that I want to? Absolutely. But the places that have understood my value and treated me as such, I know I was there for a certain reason, but I wanted to be there. Beyond allowed me and Gabe to be ourselves.
Right.
Beyond allowed us to be in front of fans that cared and loved wrestling. They weren't there because, like a tip, sometimes an indie crowd, right? It's like, hey, you know, my girlfriend's little brother is doing this, and I was supposed to go last month, but I didn't, so I promised she dragged me here. They're on their phone doing some shit. Or like, oh, you know, this is my uncle's girlfriend, doorman's brother. You know, he wrestles, and then I guess he was my coworker. Like, this was fans who were like, I'm taking off of work to watch some wrestling. So to be in front of those fans that know why you put a headlock on, that know why, oh, that was smart, that was cool. Like, people, I mean, granted, they don't know exactly what we're doing, right? But they respect it so much that they make you love it again. They turn you into a fan while you're wrestling. So it makes you jump higher, it makes you run faster, it makes things, you know, it makes your adrenaline rush because you care, because they're giving that love to you. That was the first time that we really experienced, like, that's what we want, that crowd. And then also that locker room, the locker room where you get that understanding where these are the guys you're supposed to be around. When you look over and no one's talking about drugs, no one's talking about fucking girls, no one's talking about stupid, like, bullshit. They're talking about how to maintain a family with this.
Right.
Talking about how to respect your wife, how to respect your kids and make time for this, knowing how to invest in your stuff, taking your money, even though it's not much, and making it into something, like knowing how to time manage, knowing how to make time for family, make your friends, like all that, like that's the conversations that I hear. And then the future of, like, you know, like certain things that go on in wrestling, and then watching the matches during the show with the guys that are like, you see that? That's good because this. Oh, that wasn't good because of that. And they put you on game if you're willing to kind of pick up the jewels and listen. And that is what I say is bigger than just the wrestling. That aura. Those are the guys that matter. The guys and girls that matter. The people who have made money in this. The people that made us want to watch. When we're around those people, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, maybe take a picture here and there. But really, it's just being around that energy and seeing, like, how it's done.
Right. Right.
You know, that was the biggest thing with MLW, right? Was you look around, everybody matters here.
Right.
In the sense where, like, everyone is here for the same reason why me and Gabe have those late night calls. Me and De Niro have those late night calls where it's like, you know, this is serious. This is what we want to do. Right. That's what these guys have. When you look left, you got MJF over here, you got Hammerstone over here, you got Fatu over here, you got Dr. Tom Pritchard over here talking game. Like, you got Ricky Steamboat chilling over there. Now we're talking about, you know, obviously you meet people, but the best part about that was you put matches together with these people.
Right.
You break bread with these people in the sense where, like, you're really trying to learn why they think the way they think, why they do the things that they do. And it's not about copying. It's about feeding off of their success of how they got to that point and trying to learn, make your own lane through their genuine advice. You're not taking genuine advice for the dude who, you know, like who didn't do enough in wrestling to give you an opinion. You know what I mean? Like these are people who you can truly value their opinion. Obviously, take everything with a grain of salt, but know that they're speaking from an educated voice and an experienced voice, and you got to be dumb not to pick something up from there. And then with that, whatever lessons I learned in the MLW locker room, I bring it to my circle and put them on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you do it. If you don't share wisdom, it's not wisdom.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing that helped elevate us, was knowing that like we can really make this count, make these matches count. So as far as real promotions, I mean, MLW gave me a chance where, I mean, at the time I was the only Asian American on television.
Mm-hmm.
That meant something. Now we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. And again, that's another thing about cheap heat or cheap clout. I could have boasted that all day on Twitter, especially with the Stop Asian Hate stuff. I could have made so much money milking that for the wrong reasons. But I said, let me chill. Let me just be that, and then become a status for people who look like me, who talk like me, who don't want to be the ninja. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, I'm a second-degree black belt. I know what I'm doing in that ring, but I don't got to be the ninja. And I think that was the cool thing that I got to do with the Akira Kwan character in MLW was, at first I didn't know what they wanted. I think they kind of wanted that and kind of realized that that's not me. So when I get to be me with those parameters of a character to make the show work, they got to see a lot of more versatility in me, and so did the people. And so I value that whole experience, working TV, flights, and have those locker room conversations and those experiences, those stories that mean so much to me. I love MLW. And then exactly, but beyond brought us there. And then we talk about even CZW, where they brought us in too. We learned hell of a lot over there, a lot of experience over there, all of us. And then you talk about Remarkable Wrestling right now, where that's an opportunity for me, Gabe, the New York crowd, to have a place to call our own and make it mean something special.
That's me. That's me. Oh, it's funny.
Yes.
It's funny because it's like, you bring it up like, I haven't even got to questions, but you're already answering like a whole bunch of my questions that I have. But it's funny because it's like, we'll talk beyond and, Gabe. So you brought up Remarkable. Let's talk about Remarkable. I just saw you at Remarkable, which is great. So I really love this promotion, and I want more people to get like behind this promotion. And I talked to the promoter, and I was like, I love your roster. I pretty much know probably about like 90% of like the roster that like comes in, especially like the last show. Maybe for a couple of stragglers, like a student here and there that I might not know there. But I just love it. And who is it? Alex was like, he goes, this show just screams Tiffany. He was like, this is a Tiffany show. And I was like, 100%. Yeah. I was like, I love it. So I'm looking forward to more Remarkable shows. You guys can check that out on IWTV. It's funny because you and Gabe wrestle Brick City Boys. So I'm glad that I got to see that. And was it Brick City Boys? Wait, I'm like mixing my phone. Yeah. I'm like, I got so many like questions here. Anyway, so Jay Cruz, I was talking to him before, and he had said to me that he was really excited to work you guys, that he's been wanting to work you guys for like, this was like days before, obviously, the Remarkable show. So he said that. He was like, oh, I really can't wait. So I was all stoked for this match. And like, I have to say, and I know I put this as a tweet, I was like, you and Gabe are a well-oiled machine. Like, this is what you want in tag team wrestling, right? And this is like, what am I, I went from like not liking tag team wrestling like years ago to like being obsessed with tag team wrestling, right? And the chemistry that you and Gabe have and what you guys have in the ring is absolutely amazing. So then when you put the Brick City Boys in here too, which you guys should check out that interview as well, it was like, it was so much fun to watch. So you guys can watch this on IWTV. Definitely go check it out. So maybe you want to elaborate a little bit on the experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like tag teams, like that's why me and Gabe are so damn good. And like I say that humbly, but I also say it very arrogantly because I know it's true. We don't even live in the same state anymore.
Right.
I live in Palm Beach, Florida now.
Right.
He lives in New York. Mm-hmm. Like he could, you know what I mean? Like to have chemistry with somebody that you don't even see half the month.
Yeah.
You don't train with, you don't work out with, you just look at him,
Yeah.
he looks at me, and we know
Yeah.
exactly what we're doing. Our timing is as if we live together.
Yeah.
Our understanding and our goals. Granted, right? We both want to be world champion, right?
Right.
But for some reason, the forces that be brought us together on a platform, literally together, not just side by side as just friends and brothers, as a tag team that is one, if not the most underrated tag team, just because we're so new, but because how we carry ourselves. We're not just popping up here, we're not just popping up there, we're popping up exactly where we want to be. People can't not take us seriously because we only deliver. Our move set cannot be made in any video game, and we pride ourselves in that too. We don't copy.
Right.
We are our own people, and that's why we know sometimes our pill is a little harder to swallow. Not because of any distrust or dislike, but we're so individualistic that there's never been anyone that walks, talks, acts like me. Gabe's Puerto Rican. You're not going to find one Puerto Rican flag on his gear because he doesn't want to be categorized in that sense. I'm Korean American. I'm very proud of that, but you're never going to see me just walking around here looking like Bruce Lee because I'm not categorized by that.
Right.
I used to have a moniker. I called myself the exception because I was the exception to the rule, and so was he. Yes, we are certain categories. Yes, we check certain boxes, but nobody, and absolutely nobody, before, currently, or after, is going to be a copy of us. And we are very, very proud of that because we know that we're creating our own lane, and that is the road less traveled because we're making it.
Mhm.
Whether we have a shovel or a spoon, we're digging that lane ourselves, and it's going to take as long as it takes, but we know we can always look back without regrets knowing we did the exact right thing.
Right.
And that means more to us than selling out and getting a couple matches that matter, a couple flights here and there. We'd rather do what we keep doing, working harder than everybody else. We're 5'8", 171, you know what I mean? But our opponents look at us like we're 6'9", and there's a reason for that. The way we carry ourselves, we don't bullshit in there.
Right.
If you're in there, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna hit hard, and no matter how hard you hit us, we're gonna get right back up. And that is easier said than done because that's what every wrestler wants to play tough guy, and that's cool. But when you step in the ring with above the rest, it's not about how tough you are. It's about who wants all of this more, and which goes back to our first conversation with those phone calls.
Yeah.
We have an unbreakable bond that lights a different type of fire in us. We wrestle very differently when we wrestle singles matches as opposed to when we're together. It's a weird thing. It's almost like being separated from your twin, or like in Hancock when you get it's like when you get together. It's one of those things where we have to recognize that although we were just thrown together one day, and it was very convenient because we trained together, we knew each other, it was easy to ride to shows together, that we have a God-given chemistry and execution that has not been matched by anybody. And no matter we win or lose, our highlights last weeks in a world where gifts only last a couple hours. We stay trending. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, because we're not in that inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
They know. We see the views. We might not get the follows after the views. Our follow count might be 0.3% of that 40, 50,000 views and acknowledgement of our talents. So we know we're getting the eyes that we're supposed to. We know we're having the side conversations with people that know about this business, that care about this business, that know that we are only good for this business. And that's something where, again, we can pull the minority card. You got a Korean and a Puerto Rican. You got two long-haired, good-looking kids out here going crazy, and we could clearly pull a lot of cards if we wanted to. In a world where that's all they're feeding for, we don't. We just let our talent speak for ourselves, and we want genuine fans who respect what we do, not because it's cool to like us, but because it's always cool to like cool shit.
Hell yeah. I'm all about the wrestling. Yes, let's
Right.
go. All right, let me grab some of these questions in the chat. What's up,
Yeah.
Desmond Cole? How are ya? Love ya.
man.
Oh man, I am going to talk about your match. It's funny how you came in here at the time, but let me grab these two fan questions in here. Shout out to Conrad, Everything Pro Wrestling. Go give him some love too. Okay, so Mike in here says, what is his favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas song Um, Someday at Christmas, Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, okay, okay. I like that. I like that. All right, all right. So the
But I
next,
like the Michael Jackson version too.
there you
So
go. It's November 1st. Everybody's fighting that, everybody's celebrating Christmas early or too early for Christmas. I'm looking for some turkey, all that fun stuff. So, all right. So Melissa's in the chat. What's up, Melissa? She goes, since he's a New Yorker, non-wrestling question. Which are his New York sports teams?
my New York sports team,
Hmm.
the New York Giants, and the New York Knicks. We're getting through it. But the Giants, man, we're 6-2, so we're looking good. We have a little break this week, so I'm excited for us. I
I,
am.
I know she's like more interested of baseball. So,
Oh, I mean, like I got too much energy to watch baseball. I know that sounds kind of setting towards baseball.
mhm.
I could never get into it. I like playing it, but even then, like I could never sit in the dugout. I was always just too. I needed to keep on being active. That's why I wrestled. That's why I played basketball. That's why I played. Anything that I can get my hands on that didn't allow me to kind of stand around or sit.
Right.
You need a lot of patience to for baseball, a lot of concentration, which I have. It's certain aspects, but it never really grabbed me the same way that like wrestling did or basketball did or football does.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're going to ask me, I have a lot of Yankee clothes. Just being from New York,
Uh,
my grandpa was a Met fan, but I have a lot of friends that are Yankee fans. So I just want New York baseball to do well.
Okay, good. Because, like, she's a Mets fan. I'm a Mets fan. You might have lost the fan over there in
I got a, I
wrestling.
got a, I got a Piazza jersey in the closet too. So I got things,
Okay,
but
okay. I think you might have scored the brownie points back. You might have scored the brownie points back for her. What she said makes sense in the chat. So, but all right. So since Desmond Cole came into the chat, let's talk Bish at the beach. All right. So
yes,
like this was fun. I'm so glad. I was like I have to come up for the show. I was like this was fun.
yeah,
What was this? This was Rhode Island, right? Yeah, this was Rhode
yeah.
Island. I don't even know. I just throw everything into the GPS nowadays. It's like okay, I'm driving out here, whatever. But this was fun. This was at like a bar on the beach for you guys,
Yeah.
and like you guys were having fun. Even like when we got in, and then like playing around, throwing a football around, just like this was fun. If anybody could go to one of these Beyond shows, I really suggest like this is when you should go. Like I had a lot of fun. It was entertaining as hell. You and Desmond Cole had an amazing match. It just aired. If you guys didn't watch it, please go back. IWTV, it's on there. So a lot of fun times. So you guys had great chemistry. I love you both. But this is fun. This was a fun match. So maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more on that.
Yeah, and Desmond, he's another one of those guys who was there with those phone calls,
Yeah.
and I always bring those up because, you know, when you understand somebody on such an intimate level of their passion,
Hmm.
and again, we go back to the passion of something that when we were growing up, like wrestling wasn't cool. It just got cool like 6 months ago to like wrestling again, you know? So all of that where you're combating, trying to be yourself, but you're also trying to learn how to be a man, but you're also trying to learn how to wrestle, but you're also trying to be a good son, a good boyfriend, a good, like a lot of boxes. Again, you're trying to check these phone calls that end up bringing us back to earth and making our point that if we want this, only we can take it. Only we can make this happen. And he understood that. So once he understood that he didn't have to just be Desmond the wrestler, he's the big boofer.
Yeah.
Once he figured that out, only went up. And that's what we wanted. So to get this match on a platform that gave me and Gabe our opportunity, that gave us a chance to be around a locker room and around a crowd, around a platform that would elevate our brand and make us realize we're supposed to be here. And I told him, and I always say, at this point in wrestling, nobody is letting you on a show because you're a good guy. Let's make them feel good. They don't give a yes. At the end of the day, it matters if you're a good person, I guess. But if you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're gonna put you on. You're not here by accident. There's too much money. There's too much reputation on the line to give someone a pat on the back because you're a good kid. No, you're here because you're supposed to be here, and you're against me because that's what the powers that be decided. That on your debut, you're gonna wrestle someone who not only you were blood, sweat, and tears with, but someone who completely understands the situation that he's in. The pressure of those cameras, the pressure of that crowd, the pressure of that IWTV audience, the pressure of you never know who's watching.
Right.
And, we beat the hell out of each other at a show that was supposed to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Water wings and water guns and lifeguards and bullshit like that. We were the only match in that card that wasn't that. Respectfully, obviously, you gotta know your theme and you gotta know your audience. We went in there and we said we're gonna have a fucking match.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a match that we can be proud of. I don't care what energy is out there. We're about to change it. The lights are gonna get dark. The sun's gonna go away for our match. It's gonna get dark out because we're gonna show them exactly why we're here. And you can say whatever you want, but the last thing you're gonna say when you leave Westerly, Rhode Island is that was such a fun show. But damn, that they killed each other. That was crazy. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And he understood that, and he made it happen. And I wish, obviously, the best for him. I know he's going to be back on that platform again. I would love to spoil things, but I'm not gonna.
No, don't spoil.
Because that's no fun.
No fun.
But he made his impression felt because there's only one him.
Yeah.
There's only one him. There is nobody that can copy what he does. There's nobody that can think the way he does and piece stuff together the way that he does. And the more he understands that, the more the people are going to see that, which means the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
So,
man, 2022 has been such a fantastic year for a lot of people. I mean, I've been coming up to New England scene like crazy lately because I cannot believe what's in the New England scene. It's amazing. And I'm not taking that away from anything else. But now to like physically come up to like New England and start watching all this stuff like beyond. And these were all like bucket list promotions that I've been dying to go to. And then the pandemic happened. So here we are or whatever. But like even Limitless, Desmond Cole's another one. Made his debut. You guys, you made your debut at Limitless. I finally got it to go up there. There's nothing like it. I had this conversation with Randy. I could not wait to come up to a Limitless show. I mean, it's like about 6 hours drives from New York, so it's a hike, well worth it. I'm lucky, Limitless will be at Wrestleville. I got to see Blitzkrieg versus Limitless, so I got to see, a bunch of the talent up there. But if you're not watching Limitless, I don't know what you're doing. But again, like a bunch of debuts. It's amazing. Those fans up there, I love those fans. They know, like, those fans are great. I love going to a promotion and the fans are invested. Totally invested. I hate going to a show and it's dead. Give me life. This is why the wrestlers want me at shows, because they need me.
I always say that I've said this multiple times to people and they can quote me on this. I've said a week before a show, all wrestlers should go on juice cleanses because wrestling fans are notoriously just extremely unhealthy and do not have the stamina to be excited for 3 hours. They don't.
Yeah.
So I'm calling on all wrestling fans, juice cleanses and push-ups a week before you go to a show so you can be alive for the main event and after the intermission. And that's just and then again, they say that I'm wrong. I know, I understand brain chemistry and nutrition, all that stuff. You do not have enough battery life. And so that's the one thing. But passion and investment, like you said, is one hell of a drug where that Limitless crowd, we weren't cursing them out, but we were like, listen, we don't care who you are.
Yeah. When
that match ended, they wouldn't let us leave without saying, please come back, me and Gabe. Devin steals the show every time he's over there.
Yeah.
And that's something where, like, I told him again, I said, we're not here for no reason. Look at the roster that they've had at Limitless. Look at the people who have gone through and made something about them, made a name for themselves there.
Right.
You think they're just there because they're good guys? No, they're there because they're the best in the world.
Yeah. And
now we're here. So what does that make us? You know what I mean? And it's okay to talk like that. People are like, oh, no, I'm not that good. listen to that self-talk. If you, again, for you, if you don't act like a queen, no one's gonna believe you're queen of the Indies. Does that mean spit on everyone below you? No, that
No.
just means you gotta walk and know exactly who you are, and
Uh-huh.
no person, no man, no promoter, no other person can tell you about you.
Yeah.
If you know you're doing the right things, that behind closed doors and in front of the crowd. So same thing for us, where like we know we're supposed to be here. Any chip on our shoulder that we feel is because it took too long,
Hmm.
and we really believe that. How dare you ask us now? We've been here. Granted, we get better every single time we do it, but we know how we carry ourselves inside, outside the ring. You can put us on a podcast. You can put us on Good Morning America. You can
Right.
put us in front of kids. You can put us in front of a senior center. You can, and we'll be good. You got people, yeah, they're, you know what I mean? Like you got it. That's deeper than wrestling. That's entertainment. That's a platform. That's being marketable. That's being someone that you could put out and promote whatever you need to promote and make it happen. You know, um, I just know that Devin, Gabe, like all the guys, like they understand that when I tell them, because they see it. The proof is in the pudding. Where like if I say something's gonna happen, it happens. I had a dream that we were gonna debut for Limitless. About 2 weeks later, we got the call. I had a dream about a certain match that was going to happen in MLW, and it happened, which is the War Chamber match, and not specifically the War Chamber match itself, but people that I wanted to work, and they were all in that match. I wanted to work Hammerstone. I wanted to work Jeff Cobb. I wanted to work Richard Holiday. I wanted to be in that match, and we were, and that's exactly what happened. And something where like I really believe if you speak into existence, you put good into the world, and you only elevate yourself and the people around you, it's gonna happen. It
Yup.
might not happen like right away, but it's gonna happen. You know,
Manifest that, baby.
that's it.
I'm all about it. I am all about that. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. So, all right, let's do a fun fan tweet. So, this one's from Good Cop, Bad Cop. Shout out to you. He goes, with Tristen Thai being an anagram of inherit stat, what impressive wrestling stat would you like to acquire from someone? Ooh.
I mean, the only thing that I would ever take from anyone would be I want to be give me EJ and Duca's height. Bro's like 6'9". When we wrestled, I was like, what the hell are we gonna like? I was like, I'm gonna kick you in the mouth, right? Because I'm gonna get up there. Like it was one of those things where it's like sometimes I never feel small. I never feel like a small guy
Mm-hmm.
because I only wrestled giants. I'm the only one. And when I was in MLW, they classified me as a middleweight. I didn't have one middleweight match my entire stint there. It was at 3.5 years. I never wrestled the middleweight. I was always with either the heavyweights or the super heavyweights. And I was like, damn, if I was their size, I would be wrecking shit right now. I know that. So obviously in the land of the giants, which isn't always the same thing anymore, but these guys were listing their shoes and they're walking around in high heels pretty much. All these guys, like added inches to their bodies. I don't envy anybody. I don't, to where I would take a skill from anyone. Maybe having access to certain areas and certain people around, like certain people that had like that were close to certain schools that we could feed off of other things. But I mean, everything that I've been through, everyone that I've been with or came up with was for a reason. And I don't think anything that happened would have happened unless I went ahead the way that I did. And I think like if we could always think in terms of what could have been, what should have been, maybe what if. That's only going to make you crazy because there's always going to be a next what if.
Right.
But what if I don't think like that and I just keep doing what I'm doing? So that's where sometimes those thoughts do creep up in your head. Like, damn, I wish I could have been like, oh, I wish I had that gear maker. Oh, I wish I had, oh man, I wish I had that. I wish I got booked by this guy. Oh, I wish I could be friends with this dude. Like, I don't care about that, and that's not like salty or anything like that. It's just if I look left or right, I forget what's in front of me.
Right.
So that's how I think about it.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's do an important question that's very important to this podcast. Wrestling with positivity. I'm very big on that. Also, I'm still looking for stories. If anybody's interested, hit me up. So, we're going to ask you this. So, is there anything that sticks out to you, whether it's something maybe you've done for a fan, or maybe, you know, a fan's done for you, maybe a wrestler's done for you, maybe something you've done for a wrestler, something that we wouldn't normally know unless you tell this story?
Oh, hmm. It's weird. Like, I always enjoy hearing feedback from people who I don't know, because that's the part of the entertainment that we got into, is having people that you don't know admire something or respect something that you did. So it's not one specific moment. It's, hey, me and my kid loved your match. Hey, we thought that was awesome. Hey, can you take a picture with me? Hey, can you sign this? Like, that can either blow your head up, or it can make you realize like you're doing something in the right direction. You're moving people. You know, people are working their jobs, spending their money and time to come see you perform, and then not just you, the whole card. And you might not have been the reason that you bought that ticket, but they felt so inclined to tell you after years of, you know, couple of years of, you know, social distancing, after years of being afraid to say the wrong thing to someone because you're gonna get canceled, blah, 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 all this other stuff. For someone in this day and age now to come up to you, not know you, and say something like, hey, you know, that match was, that was something else. They didn't do that for money. They didn't do that because I would follow them back. They did that because they couldn't keep their mouths shut. They were so compelled by what we did, what we gave them, that they had to come up and say something. And I know that on a separate scale, when I see someone go out of their way to help someone else out in just, you know, the regular world, I know when I see a kid help someone across the street that didn't ask for anything, when I see, you know, see like a single mother with her kid and she got groceries and stuff, and I see someone just slide 100 to the cashier, that type of stuff, where you don't got to make a scene about it. You're not doing it for cameras. You're just being like, hey, like,
Yeah.
thank you for being a part of this world right now. When you get that version from wrestling, and having people be thankful that you just performed, like genuinely thankful, like you did something for them, that's what gets me off, in the sense where, like, that is how I felt when I watched the guys. When I watched Eddie Guerrero make a face, and I was like, that, like, why did I would go back to school, I would think about that all day. You know, like when they make you feel something bigger than what it was, you know, and I think that's what everyone probably understands. They might not articulate it the same way, but they definitely know what I'm talking about when I say that it's the fans that you don't know, you might not ever see again, and they remember you forever. And that's something that blows your mind. So that type of stuff.
Yeah, I love all those humbling moments. So I love asking this on the podcast. Like I said, it's very important to me on this channel. So I like to spread all that love. So let's see. James in the chat says, shout out to the former FTW boys. Desmond Cole says, not gonna lie, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Without him, I wouldn't be the big boofa, and that's nothing but facts.
So that goes into me pulling him out of himself. You know, again, with those phone calls, when you're completely honest with somebody on a level of just, you have that trust to be that honest with somebody, you're able to really kind of, you talk different, but you also listen different.
Right.
I just allowed him to kind of understand where my head was at with my own character, where if I, you know, obviously I did the miss in MLW and stuff, but like if I was just spit and miss with a samurai sword, I would get booked a lot more places. I know that, because that checks the box. No one talks about, I'm the only Asian on every card that I'm on. The only one. Fans suck off Japan any chance that they get, whether it's anime or New Japan. They will suck off Japan until there's nothing left. Now, I'm not Japanese, but I know who I am, and if I wrestled a different way, if I was from a different spot, I would get treated differently. Now, I told him that I take very much pride in being me. You can't typecast me. You can't make me do an accent. You can't, you can't make me be the Karate Kid. You just can't. I'm not him. I'm me. Do I know martial arts? Yes, I'm very disciplined in martial arts. But am I from New York? You're damn right I am. You can't write that. There's nobody in wrestling that's like me. Just like Desmond, there's nobody in wrestling like you. You're an accomplished breakdancer. You're an accomplished, you know what I mean? You also did martial arts. You have body control that people take years just to understand. And you're hiding that from the world. And once that started to click, he said, damn, I don't got to pretend to be anybody. I'm marketable. Me? Yeah, you. Just turn that shit up a little bit. Big Boofer was born, and look. You know what I mean? And that, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where, like, once you click that, and some people just need a little reminder of who they are, because they're so humbled and such a good person, you forget that it's okay to be selfish in these types of avenues. You got to think your shit doesn't stink in certain ways, because otherwise, you're going to get passed over. I let him know, listen, when you are on, you're on. Stay like that. And he figured it out. And he's still learning, just like I'm still learning, just like Gabe's still learning. We're all learning, but we figured that out.
Right.
Percy Ryan, same deal. He's figuring it out. And that's something where, like, you can guide, but you can't teach.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different switch that they need to turn on. His switch is different than mine that needed to be lit up the fire to decide, like, who I wanted to be in wrestling. Same thing for Devin, same thing for, all the guys. But as far as, like, the birth of the Big Boofa, I didn't create anything. That's him. I just let him know that he's allowed to be him. Mm-hmm. And he just trusted me enough because of those phone calls. He knew I wasn't lying when I said that to him. He knew I genuinely meant that the talent that he has, that no one else can copy, that no one else can take away, that no one can script for him. Mm-hmm. That's what people are going to buy into. That's why any venue he goes to, when he says Boofa, they say it back. He knows how to have fun. He knows how to make an impression, and he knows how to put a match, and he knows how to wrestle. And,
I love it.
He's the man.
He is so awesome. Again, if you guys want to learn more about Desmond, go check out that interview. You guys know I'm a big fan, obviously. I love, like, everybody's, like, connected that, like, I bring onto this podcast. It's like, and I love the support, and, like, even not only, like, supporting my podcast, like, that you guys come into the chat and stuff like that. I just love the support that you guys have for each other. It's just truly, truly amazing. So, all right, favorite road trip snack?
Oh, Wawa.
Yes.
We don't have those in New York. So
I know. Terrible. I don't know why.
That or whatever diner we could find.
Pretty much.
Jack's Diner on Queens Boulevard.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. Why is my camera being silly right now? Hold on a second. Why is it being a butt? My camera decided to blur. Okay. All right. Give us one of your best road trip stories.
Damn. Shit. They're all funny for different reasons. They really are. Like, I mean, anytime, you put a beer in Jacob Fatu's hands, man, shit's gonna be funny. There's countless nights where, like, we were, it was just always just jokes and good times. And then also sometimes hearing like sitting down. I remember one time, like, sitting down with it was me, Fatu, and Savio Vega, and he was just, like, talking about, like, old, like, WWF, like, locker room stories and things like that, and just hearing, like, different things from that perspective is just so cool. Like, just because, like, you're at that point, you get to see people not under a spotlight, not, oiled up. You're seeing the individual, and you're hearing things from their perspective and their point of view and how they experience. So that's always going to be so cool to me. And then like obviously with the guys, on Wednesday nights driving down to CZW and then driving back like the same night, like sometimes sleeping in Brooklyn with at De Niro's place and just waking up forgetting that they were there. We forgot, and we switched the call. We parked like 3 blocks away. Just walking in the cold with our knee pads on, just like all that stuff. Trying to just figure it out, realizing we didn't even get paid, and just like we're just walking with all of our shit in the snow. 3 blocks to Dom's house, we all got a gallon of water that we don't even know if we grabbed the right one. Like those stories, we're like, we don't know where we're going. Like we're again GPS, we're just driving.
Mm-hmm.
There's not one particular road story because they always mean so much to me. That's a time where we all get to just let loose and realize like there's no need for walls.
Mm-hmm.
We're fucking wrestlers. We're fucking marks for each other in the sense we're like, we just love this. And we're here. Why are we here? Because we're about to go wrestle. And that is always like the best feeling, is knowing that you're here to wrestle or with people that you love. And you love them in a different sense than family, because they love what you love more than anything in the world. And only they understand it. And that's a crazy connection that other people have in different areas and things like that, whether that might be a certain belief or a certain band maybe, but wrestling is something that in one way or another we've all had certain sacrifices that we had to make, and certain not trauma, that's a strong word, but certain discretions that we had to deal with, whether that was girls not getting it, friends not getting it, teachers not getting it, guidance counselors saying, why don't you be more realistic, like people who are supposed to guide you trying to deter you away from your dream, and yet you meet a group of guys who be like, no, don't shy away from that, we're going there too, we want to be there too. That is like this whole journey is a road story.
Mm-hmm.
I look at it that way. So, and then the other funny road stories are things I can't talk about.
Okay. Well, it's funny because Desmond goes, me, Tristan, and the guys got attacked by 100 emu. What the hell's an emu? While working out at a Planet Fitness. True story. We couldn't believe it. What?
We're not allowed to talk about that.
Okay.
An emu is like an ostrich.
Okay.
That was a fucked up day, and I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Okay. I thought he was talking like 100 emo guys or something like that.
No, that would be the worst thing in the world. No.
I'm sorry. That's funny. Anyway, we'll move on to the next question. All right. What's some things you like to do when you're not in the squared circle?
Oh man. Besides working out, and then that has not, obviously I guess wrestling drove me to enjoy being physically fit, but like working out that's such a release. And again, that's another area of connectiveness with other people who understand the appreciation and the dedication to always learn something new. And physical fitness, it's a very honest thing, just like wrestling, where you're either gonna do it right or you're not. You're either gonna get that weight up or you're not. You're either gonna elevate or you're not. And I like those types of venues where those types of avenues where like it's you against you. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love those situations. So besides that, I like I love hanging out with my wife. She's awesome. She keeps me humble with everything, and keeps my goals in check with with family, with our future and things like that, and wrestling all together. Other than that, man, like the easy answer always used to be staying out of trouble, but I've been staying out of trouble so long that I guess I'm not really trying anymore. I just know how to do it. So I'm enjoying that, and that there's the comfort that comes with that too. Recognizing that the people that you are around now have your best interest in mind, and the people in your life that aren't so much a pivotal part in your life, it's not about no love anymore. It's not about bad feelings. It's just about, if they're not in your life right now, they're not supposed to be. And I don't believe in missing out on things. I believe in people who are going to stay are meant to stay because they're going to choose to stay. Yep. And that's something where that opens up a lot of different opportunities and a lot of freedom to accept like new chapters and new avenues in your life to try. So long story short, just connecting with people and working out. That's the
okay. All right. All right, so I have two final questions for you. If anybody else, drop them into the
Yeah.
chat. All right, so we're coming to a close of 2022. Any goals that you like to set for the next 2 months?
Yeah. I and my Gabriel Sky are going to kick JD Drake and Anthony Henry's ass so bad. We're gonna beat JD Drake so bad he's gonna sound smart. And Anthony Henry, he wants to strike with people and shit. That's cool. You want to strike a bunch of kids that don't know how to strike? That's cool. Do that with us. So just wait. Imagine, we're just, they called us out. I don't know if you watched Limitless. They called us out.
Yeah, I did.
We called out everybody, but they answered. And they want to talk smart like we're just gonna be the next kids on the chopping block. Granted, you're saying our names. So when that time comes, we're gonna make some memories. I promise you that, and we're gonna do that before the year's up. We closed out the year. We closed out the year last year with Miracle Generation, and I'm looking to close out the year maybe with something else. But Jade, the workhorsemen, they got we got their number, and as far as Miracle Generation, obviously, we're never as long as there's tag team wrestling in the Northeast and then above the rest of the Miracle Generation in that class, we're going there. Waves and Curls, NEW, we've never been there, Northeast Wrestling, they want some tag team. I see a lot of people doing tag team tournaments and they're not calling us. That's because they want other people to win. That's why they didn't call us, and I respect that. But we're looking to really, really, really solidify ourselves again. We don't care about lists. We don't care about, we don't care about Twitter spaces. We just care about doing exactly what we always do. And if we show up, we only deliver. We're never going to give you anything that you're going to go home and say, oh, damn, they kind of dropped the ball. We don't do that. Mm-hmm. That's not like, oh, just, hey, man, we're good. Like, no, that's like, we don't fuck up. That's not a jinx. We're not built. We're built different. Mm-hmm. Like we are about this. We are independent wrestling. We are tag team wrestling. We are exactly what everybody should be, and that is an individual that doesn't want to join wrestling so they can redo high school because they did a couple push-ups and put on a little mascara, so they want to be the top bitch and the cool guy. We don't do that. They can sit at their own table. We're not about that. We're here to make money, and we're here to make memories and make people feel exactly how those fans made us feel when they came up to us and said, hey, listen, like, that was a crazy show, but you guys were the dopest thing I've ever seen. So that's the goal for 2022, 23, 24, 25.
Let's freaking
We're not stopping.
Ooh, I'm here for it. JD Alpha's in the chat. What's going on, JD Alpha? He said, love this guy. He goes, I know another JD that wants to kick your head in. Hot mess. I love it. Jabe says, is there a fourth member of the Above the Rest?
Is there a fourth member of the Above the Rest? The initiation process for the Above the Rest is pretty detailed. You got to have certain things in the tank. You got to have certain investments in line. We got to know that you can financially understand like what we're aiming towards. We're trying to build an empire. Above the Rest isn't just a tag team name. We want Above the Rest to be not a clothing brand. We want Above the Rest to be a brand. Mm-hmm. One day, Beyond Wrestling is going to have a show at the ATR Arena. We want a brand. Oh. People don't talk like that. People are cool with $20. People are cool with, small change and 9-to-5s and all that stuff. No. We know how to take our money. I show, I put them on. I show how to invest. I show how to make money on this thing, and to make generational wealth for what we want to do. And there's a lot that it takes to be above the rest because it's a mindset. It's a mindset that you have to be strategically and respectfully selfish to get to what we want to do. And it's not stepping on anybody. It's going right through anyone that even has anything negative to say, anybody who disagrees, because we're not leaving it up to you. We're not letting you know. We're not making you think like, oh, we're above the rest, by the way. No. I'm telling you. We are telling you what's up. So as far as any members are concerned, if they meet the requirements, you'll know. We'll tell you. But as of right now, We got some things in place.
Ooh,
We do.
ooh, looking forward to that. So I like to close off my questions with what's a piece of advice that you would give to those amateur and inspired wrestlers out there?
How bad do you want it? Are you wrestling because you want to fit in? Are you wrestling because you don't know what else to do? Or are you wrestling because, like me and the company that I keep, woke up and that dream was bestowed on us? That dream was cemented in that DNA, where this is what we're here to do. This is why we're here. Myself, I'm a Korean adoptee. I should have probably been aborted. Grew up in an orphanage, like all that stuff. Like, I was given this chance of life to be a wrestler. Gabe was given his first breath to be a wrestler. Desmond Cole, same deal. This is why we're here. We're not here because, it'd be cool to try. We are supposed to be here. So you got to ask yourself, are you willing to put in that time in? And actually put the time in. Not just want it, not just say you want it, do it. And that's where you have to have that conversation with yourself. Where am I independently mature enough to know exactly who I am as an individual? am I in a good place where I can manage and balance my time? And do I really truly believe in my ability? Am I an athlete? Am I great at speaking? Do I have wonderful ideas? Do I think about this night and day, but not just fantasize, put work in towards it? Do I have to force myself to go to the gym? Do I have to force myself to eat right? Do I have to force myself to watch tape? Do I have to question whether or not I'm good enough? I never had to question if I was good enough. I never had a question if I wanted to go to the gym. I never had a question if the company that I keep is best for me. Because I learned that before wrestling. You got to learn how to control your circle before wrestling. You got to learn how to control your cravings, control your temptations before wrestling. You got to sit down. If you have a significant other now, let them understand. If you're talking to somebody in the beginnings of a relationship, let them know what's good. Because if you don't, it'll come back the wrong way, and it'll be exposed. Not that you're in trouble or whatever. It's not for everybody.
Right.
But if you truly believe that it's for you, it might be. And that's where you have to understand, like, the company you keep is a reflection of how you carry yourself. If the company you keep is okay with being mediocre, you are mediocre. If your company you keep is okay with not taking the next step, if your company you keep is okay with having no money in their pockets, if your company you keep is okay with mistreating girls or mistreating their kids or just not putting their best foot forward, that is you. So if your circle is winning, and you are, if you're the hardest worker in the room, it's time to change rooms. You don't want to be the best worst person. That's something that Desmond figured out. He was the best. He was the hardest worker in the room, and it was time for him to switch rooms and hang out with the killers, hang out where the gorillas hang out at, because that is where you really get to see. And like, you look left, you look right, and you're like, damn, now it's time. And I figured that out earlier in life. Gabe figured it out. Desmond figured it out. So that's something where I always preach. You're only as real as the company you keep, and your circle, and will tell you if you are, if you're enlightened enough to step back outside yourself and watch and see your surroundings and see what's going on. Other than that, I'm always open to help people. So I mean, my DMs are open. You know what I mean? In the sense where, like, if you really want to talk about something, talk over matches. I only know what I know, and anytime anyone asks me for advice on anything, I never give them my advice unless they ask for it. I always bestow knowledge that was given to me, and I just recycle it in the sense where I make them understand it for them. But I never say this is what I think unless you want to know. My opinion isn't worth shit unless you ask for it. If you want advice, I'm gonna give you advice that I got from people who are, are certified. Talks again like with, Dr. Tom Pritchard or Kono or like Grim Reaper or just guys that I've been around that understand this business, understand this game, and really help me. So again, like as far as if you love it, don't ask questions, sign up, train, and work, and I'll see you soon. That's how I feel about it.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. I think that probably help out like a lot of the, amateur inspired wrestlers out there. Definitely. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So what do you have coming up?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna name you matches specifically
Mm-hmm.
because the match cards haven't dropped yet. But November 27th, we got Beyond Wrestling. It's gonna be a pretty sick show. I'm excited. And then December 3rd, Limitless Wrestling. Workhorseman better be there. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh.
Me and Gabe will be there. And as far as the rest of the year, I'm waiting. And I'm scouting, and I'm hoping that something cool pops up because I'm always ready for a fight. It's just a matter if they're ready to fight me, and cut the check, and I'm ready. That's
Ooh.
it.
That's so awesome. Well, tell everybody where they could follow you so they can support you and find out like what's upcoming for you and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Also, Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at Tristen Thai. Instagram, same thing. I believe it's Tristen_Thai_ again. And I don't use Facebook, so don't even try it. But yeah, Twitter and Instagram. I'm really lazy on social media sometimes, but a little bit more interaction, I'm pretty sure I'll give it to you. So I only post the cool stuff.
Awesome. Those links are in the description below. So.
And if you want to buy some merchandise, you can always check out alwaysuptosomething.com. The link is in my bio. It's a clothing line that helped me with a lot of merchandise that I have going on and upcoming. We do a lot of stuff where it's an open platform with a lot of different things, photography, branding. I know I'm gonna open up a mental health section where I have my master's in social work too. I got it from Fordham University. I always talk about my degrees, but it's something where if you are ever interested in something where just a little pick me up or a little understanding about anxiety control and things like that, I got you. Everything is confidential. Everything is super professional. And if you have the chance, click, check my bio, click the link. Always Up to Something. Great merchandise, great people, and great causes. So you always check us out.
That's amazing. Awesome. So go give some love and support. So, well, Tristan, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with us a little bit. I'm so excited for your future. I hope I get to see you like more at some other promotions since I'm all over the freaking place. But but I'm glad to see you over like Remarkable since I'm not far and everywhere else. So, but I'm really looking forward to what's coming up with you. So.
Thank you so much. When you told me that you wanted to do the podcast, I was like, I was probably going to ask you if you wanted me on it, but I was waiting for the invite.
Yeah, I do. I always do the inviting over here, like everybody.
That was
so
perfect, man.
It's always
It
was just perfect timing.
Yeah, no. I hope we can do it again. It'd be cool. If you want to get me and Gabe on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're always here.
There's always stuff to talk about it. I know, like again, like every podcast that I do, I just like hit like a little bit with everybody. So, but yeah, maybe we'll plan something. You and Gabe will do something that'll be kind of fun podcast to do. So so definitely. So this is why you guys need to be subscribed to the Indie Wrestling Corner. So hit that bell and turn the notifications on so you can see what's going on. Actually, I'm gonna drop it now. Nola Catano is coming on next week. That's one that I really should have had a long time ago. There's so many.
He's someone too. No, shout out Nola Catano.
Yeah, he's amazing. So this is
match I'm waiting to have. You tell him that I'm waiting to have that.
Oh, okay. I'll put it into my questions for him. So we'll talk about that. So I love Nola. I was at his first match ever. So we're going to talk about that next week. So again, make sure you're subscribed. So, but so anyway, I will have an Indie Talks episode sometime this week for you guys. I will be at Fight Life tomorrow. Go check out that promotion as well. They're on High Spots, which is pretty cool. So I'll be there. I'll have backstage stuff for you as well. So Yeah. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks for all your support. I love you so much. So, you know the drill. Stay safe, support independent wrestling, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.